There's one thing that I've struggled with for the entirety of my career because of my different skill sets, and that is the answering of the question, what do you do? And I could have said so many different things in terms of relationships, in terms of helping people to succeed with sales or with trading or whatever it is. There's so many different things. And or content creation, because one of my clients, he's gone to 1.6 million subscribers. He started working with me and we did that together. And what I discovered is that it's so difficult for me to reply correctly to that question. And what I found out is that I might have to make a few tweaks to it, but I think I've figured it out. And the correct answer is I'm a consistency coach. That's it. A consistency coach. Most people won't know what that is. They know what consistency is, but they don't know what a consistency coach is. Like, what do you actually do? And I make success automated for you. So then you will have to know, well, what is success for me? And I will help you to automate that. Okay, so where do we go from there? Well, success automation, it means that success is no longer a black box for you. Meaning you have this, on airplanes, you've got this big black mystery box that is used in terms of if an airplane crashes, then they can figure out what actually happened on board the airplane, inside the cockpit, etc. And it's a mystery, right? You don't know what's going to be inside that black box. And this is how it is with success very often for us, is we're struggling to understand what is success for me? And am I a success? When will I be a success? How does it look like? What's going on? And what is the journey towards it? Like, will I ever arrive? That's what is going through people's minds on a daily basis if you are an entrepreneur and you're actually trying to create some form of momentum in your business. A lot of people don't even think about it. A lot of people are just like, how can I get laid? Or how can I, make money right now? Or whatever it is. But entrepreneurs, they think long-term and they're like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can't I make things happen? Okay. So success automation basically means that you now understand the process. You now understand what is happening and you've made it easy, right? Like something that is automated is automatic, making it easy, right? Like you're shifting gears on a car. It's a little bit harder. I enjoy it more, but it's a little bit harder to use a stick. In America, most of the cars are automated, right? You automate the gear shifting. And so it makes it easier for you to actually arrive because it's just, obviously you understand the automation part. Okay, so you have the information. Okay, so that's the knowledge part of the equation. But if you want something to be automated, you also need to integrate it into your life, meaning you have to apply the information and it needs to be a habit. Habits are the definition of automation. If you've got the correct habits, then you do that thing without even thinking about it. That's the cool part about habits, is like well, what am I supposed to do here? That's a question that you won't answer or won't have to answer if you have a habit that's working for you, right? So because you have done it so many different times and you're making it happen every single day, and as a result, you're getting more and more results because it's easy now. And what's easy allows you to learn a different aspect to it that makes it even more easy in the future. Okay, so this is automation. This is wisdom, right? Information is knowledge, and then the application of the information and doing that consistently over a long period of time, that's wisdom. And that is what creates the exponential growth curve in terms of your success. So everyone wants success, but what is it actually? And we'll try to define it now using quotes from a few greats, right? So Earl Nightingale, he said that success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal. Okay, so there's multiple things happening inside that sentence. But the key aspect of it is the progressive realization. Worthwhile means that there's value to it that you bring to the marketplace, that you bring to the world. And if it's not a worthwhile goal, then we can't really apply that it is success. Like, it's not a good thing. Like, you might have a goal of dominating the world through force and then enforcing communism worldwide, right? That's not a worthwhile goal because it's destructive, right? So if you've got a goal that is worthwhile, it's beneficial for humankind and for you and for everyone around you, making the world a better place, fantastic. Then success is only the progressive realization of that. So are you progressing towards making the world a better place? Are you serving other people? Are you putting in the work to making everyone's lives around you a little bit better long term? Now, short term, you might make things a little bit more difficult for other people because they, like, as family and friends, they want you to do this and they want you to do that, or they want for you to lend them money or whatever it is. So short term, you might actually make people's lives a little bit more miserable for those people around you because they need you for different things. But if you are progressively moving towards success and saying no to things that are standing in the way of doing the necessary items or necessary tasks or necessary things in order for you to succeed, then eventually you're going to create something amazing that benefits every single person around you, right? So that is one of the best quotes ever, and I wanted to kind of give you guys an overview of what ChatGPT says about it because it's pretty cool. Okay, so who said it? Earl Nightingale. I thought it was Jim Rohn or like something like that, or Brian Tracy. But he said it in his famous 1956 audio recording, "The Strangest Secret." Okay, so you might want to listen to that one at some point. He said, success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal, a worthy goal or ideal. It reframes success not as a final destination, but as a process. Here's a breakdown of the parts. You gotta love ChatGPT sometimes. Okay, progressive realization. This emphasizes ongoing effort and growth, not an end point. You don't need to have reached the goal yet to be considered successful. You're successful as long as you're moving toward it with intention and consistency. Okay? ChatGPT used that word. Consistency coach, remember? As long as you're moving toward a goal with intention and consistency. And then they give an example. A student studying to become a doctor is already successful, even if they're years from graduation, because they're actively progressing towards that goal. Okay, great. So worthy goal or ideal, we already kind of discussed this, but it puts value and meaning to it. A worthy goal isn't necessarily what society deems successful, like fame or money, but what genuinely is important and fulfilling to you, aligned with your values and aspirations. Nightingale's idea relieves the pressure of making it, okay? Arriving at the destination. It's actually all about the journey, and encourages people to define success internally by purpose, effort, and direction rather than external metrics like wealth, awards, or status. It's also motivational. Even small steps forward counts as success as long as they're moving you closer to a meaningful purpose. So if we understand this one, like if we understand what that means, that you're, like, if you think big, thinking big is your life, right? And moving towards creating a successful life. Isn't that what we're really trying to do here? We're trying to increase the quality of life for ourselves, for our family, and for everyone around us, and for the world at large. Fantastic. If you're doing that, that is the big picture. But if you are thinking about your day, that is thinking big and small as well. Because if you have fantastic work ethic on any given day, you are having a successful day. If you are being lazy and procrastinating and doing a bunch of other stuff and you ended up not doing any form of work or service to other people, then that was an unsuccessful day, right? We have to be able to look at the opposites of it. Because you could say that, well, my worthwhile ideal or goal is to just be able to survive, right? And until an old age. bruh, like, how is that serving other people? How is that making the world a better place? You have to at some point start serving other people. And I'm going to explain at the end of the video why that's so crucial, because, it's important for you to understand it. Okay, so if you're looking at your day, your daily schedule is what determines whether you're a success or not today. And if you stack up a successful day and then have another successful day tomorrow, and then the third, and then the fourth, and you make as many of the future days in your future a successful day, you're now stacking habits into place. And that is the most crucial part about this video. But let's keep going with a quote that has been assumed to be given to Winston Churchill, but who knows if that's actually correct. And his quote, or someone else's quote, is success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. I love that quote. It's actually, I kind of like it even better than the first one, if you really think about it, but they go so hand in hand with each other. It's freaking awesome. So let's think about this for a second. It's going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Going, okay, that means that you're actually serving other people. Okay, it's a journey. You're doing something. It's a verb, right? You're going somewhere. Now, you might be crawling towards success. You might be walking towards success. You might be running towards success, but you're going from from A to B, from an unimproved situation to an improved situation. And you're making the world and your vicinity and everyone else's environment better, okay? So eventually at the end of the rainbow, we have come to a sense of unity where everyone agrees on certain principles, the truth, and are now living happily ever after. That is the end goal in mind, right? For everyone to understand truth to the point where they're applying it and everyone's applying the truth. Now, whoa, we're in a different circumstance completely at this point, right? So are you running towards, are you running from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm? That would be the ultimate, but that's hard, right? Sometimes you gotta walk or go, right? From failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. And sometimes you have to crawl because your enthusiasm is not that high, right? That's what causes you to crawl. And you're going from failure to failure, but it's going kind of slow because you're actually really struggling with this process going on here. So, and that's okay, but as long as you never ever stop, as long as you keep going is the key. Because if you keep going, there's a progressive realization of the worthwhile goal. The moment you stop, the moment you give up, that's when you stop being successful. That's when you are no longer in a progressive realization of that goal. And that is the time when you should be upset with yourself, when you should be, not feeling good, when there should be some form of depression. Like, that is normal. That is how it should be, because you are focusing on yourself. You want to make the world a better place, you have to start focusing on other people. It's not like, yes, of course, we got to do work on ourselves in terms of like some people meditate or some people write in their journal, which this is one of the things that I encourage people to do, especially if you're depressed, because that's going to help a lot. But you're working on yourself in order for you to work for other people. Okay, life is about serving others. Life is actually being okay with making sure everyone else is doing okay. Because what you invest in is what you're going to receive multiplied. And I spend a lot of time on this because it needs to be repeated for all of us to hear and understand again and again and again. Because most people don't understand this point, right? Most people think that it's all about me. Like the sun, I am the sun, and all of the planets revolve around me. It is like, bro, that's not really how it works, right? I mean, at some point, if you are serving everyone, which the sun actually does, then you can get those accolades. But if you are, okay, let's see. But if you are not serving other people, then you don't deserve to get the accolades that the sun gets, right? Hope that makes sense. So, but the key point, understanding, is you're going, but you also are keeping the going toward success. And at the end there, you go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Now, I want you guys to understand what enthusiasm means because I absolutely love that word. Okay, so let's look at ChatGPT again real quick. And it says, okay, it's the etymology of enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm has a fascinating origin rooted in ancient spiritual beliefs. Okay, so this is from the past, okay? And it's history in terms of how we speak about it. The root words are in and God, or in other words, possessed by God or inspired by the divine. Wow, okay? Over time, it evolved to mean intense passion, eagerness, excitement, and it says enthusiasm refers to strong excitement or interest in something. Though the divine origin lingers in the idea of being fired up or filled with a spirit of energy. Okay, so if we understand that part, success becomes awesome. It's like I'm possessed with God if I'm excited and fired up about failure. Who would be excited about failure? Like when your goal as a salesperson is to talk to 100 people every single day, and 99% of them are just not that interested in talking to you, either because of not responding or because they're like, why are you talking to me, right? And one dude is like, yo, what's up? Like that is success. That is you actually going through it the right way, and you have to be fired up about it as a salesperson. Because if you're not fired up about it, that one person that is fired up, he would have not connected with you because you're not fired up. He only wants to be around fired up people. And so that's how a salesperson actually ends up succeeding. It's like he's fired up when he meets opportunity. And opportunity is when someone else is fired up and there's a connection. And now they can actually do something together and make things happen. So that's kind of how it looks like from a success perspective. And if you're doing that, if you're actually talking to 100 people and you are excited about it, that's when you know that you are being a success already. So let's bring this into a practical perspective of millionaires, because they're the ones that everyone looks at and is like, that's a successful person. He's arrived, okay? He's at the end of my journey. I want to become a millionaire. I want to have what he's got, okay? So he's the epitome of success, right? Is he? Well, that depends. Is he a millionaire because he inherited it? Because if he just inherited it and didn't do what his forefathers did, then he might not be a success. In fact, he might be it's like, what do they call it? Nepotism, right? That's a little bit of a problem. I personally don't want to let my kids inherit everything that I've got unless they begin to understand these principles, because then I know that the wealth that I give them is going to be multiplied. If they don't use this information for good and they suddenly have a lot of money, that's destructive for them, right? And we don't want to destroy the next generations, and a lot of wealthy people do. So we want to make sure that they understand the principles, and that's why raising the kids is way more important than just giving them everything that they want. You need to give them opportunity, and opportunity is impossible to give them if they don't understand how to create more opportunity for themselves, right? You want to give them an understanding of success through example and teaching them if they're willing to actually learn and apply. So this is kind of how I'm looking at raising kids. I got 3 kids of my own, so that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Okay, so back to the millionaire. Is he actually a success? It depends. It depends on if he's in the trenches with you. Okay, so going back to the sales example of the salesperson, if the millionaire is now a millionaire and he ends up no longer being in the trenches of talking to 100 people a day, Now, this might be, higher echelon people. Or it might be one specific key person that he's trying to connect with that would take things to the next level in order for him to get more power and opportunity for him to do more good for the world. Okay, so like it doesn't have to be 100 people. But in the beginning, quantity is way more important for someone just starting out as a salesperson. You can't just be focusing on one person and trying to, because you don't know what you're doing, right? But if you're a millionaire and you've actually gone through the trenches of talking to tens of thousands and hundred thousands of people, and you now are people skilled and you understand what you're doing, you understand how to pitch, you understand how to angle things, the goal is to now talk to very few individuals and solve the problem of helping them understand how you guys can benefit from a collaboration towards making the world a better place. So if the millionaire is still doing that till this day, and is doing his form of 60, 70, 80-hour work week, he's a success. But if he's no longer doing that and he's just out there partying and giving money to, nightclubs or wineries, right? Because he's buying, and it's like he's an alcoholic basically, and he's only partying and he's giving all of these women a nice time, which causes them to eventually have a horrible time later because it fuels their expectations and now destroys their expectations once they start getting, wanting to set up a family of some sort, because now they want what they had in the past from the rich dude that provided for them, but they can't have it anymore because it's not logical that rich dude would commit to that woman. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm not going to go into detail about that, but that is how it actually works. The millionaire is destroying the world. The millionaire is no longer a success if he does those things. Now, if he's continuously trying to progress things to make the world a better place, he is a success. If he's destroying it, he is not. So if you now are looking at this situation and be like, okay, I want to be like the millionaire. Well, which type of millionaire? Which kind are you looking to be? Because if you're looking to be like the millionaire who is in the trenches, who is focused on making the world a better place, and is using his wealth and his opportunity in order to make that happen, now we're talking. Be like that guy. Because, you have sometimes some YouTube videos and shorts that are explaining a day in the life of, right? And so you're looking at the billionaires, looking at the millionaires. If that day of that millionaire or billionaire is not focused on work, then you don't want to be that person. You don't want to follow that kind of situation. You might think you do, but then you cease to be successful. Like the reason why people stop being successful is because they stopped doing the thing that brought them success. They no longer provided value to the marketplace. They just took from the marketplace. Or they destroyed the marketplace. Or they destroyed themselves and other people. Like, it doesn't matter. You're either helping other people progress or you're helping people to be distracted from their journey towards success. Those are the only two in between. And yeah, you can be a little bit in the gray area, but why would you? You could choose that. Choose light over darkness, right? Darkness is destruction. Light is making things better and improving things and using, for those much is given, much is required, right? Like, if you're a millionaire and you don't use the opportunity and the money that you got to make the world a better place, not just yourself and not just your pleasures and whatever, okay, we're going somewhere. That's good. So if we now apply this to you, if you are already doing the things that a millionaire who is a good person and who is doing good and who is working towards making the world a better place, if you are applying the same daily schedule as him or working towards that type of daily schedule, you are already a millionaire. You are already a billionaire. You're already whatever it is that you want to be. You're a success. You've made it today. But tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another day with completely white pages that need to be drawn on, right? Like, this is what the success journey looks like, of creating a daily schedule that is assisting the world to become a better place, that is producing value to the marketplace that will serve everyone around you. So if you're doing that, you're a massive success. If you're doing the 80-hour work week in a business model that is a worthy ideal or is making things better for other people, you're already a success. Which is very crucial for you to understand, because you're going from failure to failure to failure to failure to failure. Every single day is a failure. Talk about the opposition of all things. If you continuously are feeling like you're failing, bro, like it sucks. Like maybe I don't want to be a success anymore. Maybe I'm just gonna stay comfortable and watch TV and YouTube all day, because that makes me feel good. And if you're feeling good, you're most probably not progressing. You're most probably not changing inside. The cool part about the success journey is that you are feeling like you're changing inside. It's like, whoa, I'm a different person. Yeah, you are, if you keep failing forward. But the moment you stop failing forward, you cease to become a different person, which means that you remain who you are. And who you are today is not your biggest and fullest potential. The competition is not with other people, right? Although there are trophies out there, and there's like, you want to make the most money than everyone else, and you want to be the one with the highest status so you can get all the girls, whatever. Bro, the only person you're trying to beat is you. That's the competition. To become better than what you were yesterday by 0.01% or by 1% if you can, which is extreme growth, right? But if you can just improve a little bit every single day, you are now moving towards your exponential potential. There's an exponential growth curve happening, because life is not the only part of this equation. There's something after this life, right? And so if you believe that there is, then there must be some form of exponential progression that happens in the next life. But it starts here. It starts today. It starts now. It's not like everything's going to be amazing up there and then we're just there. It's like, no, there's a progression of a worthy ideal there as well. Okay? So without going into depth about that, although I love discussing it, you sometimes feel like you never arrive, but guess what? If you have a daily schedule, or you're progressing towards a daily schedule that is benefiting other people, and you're doing as much of it as you can per day, and I recommend no more than 11 and a half hours per day. If you do more than that, it's not sustainable, it's not consistent, and so you're going to revert back to being the person who has to crawl instead of run. You want to be able to run towards success, because then we get more done, right? It's like, imagine an NBA game where everyone is crawling. It's like, bro, what are we watching here, right? Crawling or walking or whatever. But at some point, you want to be running. Now, some of the parts of the game is sprinting, right? But a lot of the game is also walking. Like, they're walking back and forth because they've scored or whatever. And then sometimes they run. And that's how a daily schedule should be like. You know, sometimes you run, sometimes you make things happen. And the more habitual the progress is, or the process is, the more you're going to get done. And the more you do, the more status you get, the more opportunity you get, the more wealth you get, the more everything you get of whatever it is that you want. But it starts with understanding that you already are a success if you're progressing and wanting to make the world a better place, and actually applying those principles and getting better at it. And then once you get the correct habits in place, it makes the next habit that you want to attain that you don't have yet, like the level of thinking or whatever it is that you need to do. Like if you're doing 50 DMs per day right now as a salesperson, you haven't arrived yet at the 100, right? At some point you want to arrive to the 100, but it's okay that you're at 50. And then you progress towards the next level. But 50 needs to become a habit before you can move on to 100. Sometimes people, we overestimate what we can do in the long term, but we underestimate what we can do in this. Is the opposite. We overestimate what we can do in the short term. We underestimate what we can do in the long term. That's for your daily schedule too. Stop thinking so big about your daily schedule and instead bring it back down to what you can do consistently every single day without stopping. And if you apply those habits consistently over a long period of time, it becomes easier to now go to the next level. And this is actually what it means to go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm, is you're excited because you're winning. Like you're doing easy to do things. And then you're stacking those easy to do things. It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do 200 DMs today. Really? Really? Okay? No, you're not going to do that. It's going to be a failure. You're going to feel bad about yourself. And tomorrow you're not even going to do one. Right? And so that's what you need to understand, is moving back towards doing the right things on a continual basis. And I'll leave you guys with this one. The greatest among you is the greatest servant. Okay? The greatest among you is the greatest servant. This is scripture right here. If you are actually allowing yourself to serve other people more and more, like more in terms of hours, but also more intensely than anyone else, that is what makes you the greatest among you. If you go out there and serve like a mother, you are, by definition, the most successful among everyone that you're competing with from that perspective. Okay? So if you remember that, it's not about take, and getting money from people. It's about working for free until people give money to you automatically and endlessly because they need your assistance and they see value in what you do because you got value, because you work for free for other people. Serving other people is capitalism. You serve other people and they pay you money for it. And as a result, both people are rejuvenated and there's add-on to both of you. It's beautiful. It's an amazing system. And that's what I want you to remember as you do the 80-hour work week, is that in and of itself, of doing the 80-hour work week, you're already a success. I hope you take that with you. And thank you guys for participating and watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one.